I've decided to tackle this one back behind the bush, but I think you can see this all. Okay, see this line here? It scoops over here and it goes into the ground over here. So we've got this to work with. I'm just going to pull this up, and my thought here, Linda, is that we're going to take this off. I'm going to put a dripper here. I'm going to attach it to here. And now I'm going to run the same pipe over to the next. Well, actually, I'm just going to do it to this one here, because there's another one next to it. Okay. And see, this was just a stake that came up, and this can pull off like that. We're not even going to use that. And this actually, we could pull it off right there. And see, here's a little coupling. I might even use this coupling. I'll keep that on that for right now. And I'm just going to cut this end off because I want my new fitting to go on there. So I'm just using some wire cutters. Now you can use whatever you have. Linda, you had some other little cutters too, right?
Yeah, I got them in my pocket.
We'll try those in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, and then I'm gonna actually, let's take another look over here where this is going. I'm gonna grab my gloves. I really don't like how it's poked out. See that?
Okay.
That's like a tripping hazard, or it's just unsightly. There's no way this can be all covered up. So you know what? I think we might end up doing something different here. And see, here's the 1/2-inch line that it's tied into. Right here. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to pull this off, and then I can dig this down just a little bit.
Okay.
And I can pull that off.
Now, if that's too hard for me to pull off, because I've tried that, can I cut them off, or what's another approach?
You could pull that off with a pair of pliers.
Okay.
Because see, that's just in the pipe, and that pushes back in there. It snaps in. See?
Okay.
That. You can pull that off like that. It's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like that, but if you don't feel comfortable with that, you could cut this. We could cut this off right here. We could put a cap on that. But see, we're going to pull this here, like that. And, man, I wasn't really set up for that first one. What is that?
That's very unlike you, Video Joe, not having it all together.
We're keeping the camera rolling here.
Okay.
And here's some little plugs. There's 10 of them here on this little tree, okay? Now I can take that off. And I'm going to push that right in there. But normally, let's see if I can do it just by hand first, shall we? There, it snapped in there. See?
Good. Okay,
now it's capped off.
And it's not going straight up.
Yes. See, if we were going to take that pipe and run it down this direction, we could have just used that. But I don't feel comfortable with that, because we need to come out of this pipe. We need to go up to this bush. Okay, so we can come straight out of the same one. My hammer here. And I'm just moving some of this bark over because I don't like to get dirt on top of it. Get all done. I'm not going to move this. We're just going to take this punch. Remember, this was one of the little tools we got. This was less than $3. It actually came with these 10 plugs, and this is our first chance of using it. And so I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna punch it in on this side, and then the other piece is gonna come out. I'm not gonna put it up straight because then it would go up too high. So I want to try to keep it at an angle. We've got a root here in the way too. I don't necessarily have to do it right there. I could do it over here if we wanted, or I could follow this line up and I could do it in here. I think I'm going to do it right here.
Okay.
And I'm just pushing it in. This has it's just a nice sharp round edge at the top. And this pipe is probably at least 10 years old. You can twist it as you're pushing it. you want to get it in there. Okay?
Will I be able to do that?
I believe you will. There, it's in. Okay.
All right.
That sort of flattened out the pipe, but if this pipe was brand new, it would be really easy to do. But
yeah.
That's what you're going to have to do. Now, see, I've got a nice little hole there, don't I?
Yep.
Okay.
Clean.
So now I've got to find my bags of my couplings. And in fact, I had an old coupling. The old one that came off of this old line. You see right here. I could use that if I wanted. In fact, I could use the same line. Okay. Straighten it out. I'm going to pull that out. Now I'm going to push this in there until it seats. I'm going to try to do it without a pair of pliers. Sometimes your gloves are going to be slippery.
Yeah.
Let's try with a pair of pliers. I've got to hold it down here and just hang on to that and kind of use that and try to keep it at the same angle. There. Okay, I felt it snap, and that's it for the connection. Okay, I'm going to re-angle that up here like that, and I'm going to make a determination of how long I think it needs to be. Ooh, hey, your landscaping. Solar light.
Plug and play.
Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Okay. Mind my reach. I've just got my cutters here.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these little flags. I guess I don't really need my gloves on right now. I'm going to take this flag and I'm going to put it on the end. But before I do that, and usually I'll put this up towards the top side rather than the bottom. You don't want it on the bottom. I'm going to put it on the top, right in there. So when it drips, it's going to then go around the bush on down.
You're calling it a flag?
Yes, this is called a flag dripper. This is a 2 gallon per hour flag, just because it has this on here, I guess.
And it's directional? Is that why?
Well, I don't know. It is directional. It just goes one way, and then you can turn this, and you can modify how much it drips out.
Okay, good.
On that, okay? So I'm going to make a decision here that this is going to be right up about to there. Okay? No tape measure needed.
Does it make a difference how close to the trunk it is of the branch? Should it be at the drip line or above on a slope for sure?
I'm just putting it above. Okay, so once I cut it like that, it might kind of mash it, so then I just take my cutters and just kind of retweak it like that. Okay. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to push this in there. Just like that. And I kind of push and twist on. I like to do this without gloves because your gloves are going to get, it might get dirty and slippery and stuff. Okay?
Okay.
Like that. And then see, I can turn this whichever direction I want just by swiveling it around. Right, so I'm going to go like that, and that's going to be right up in like that.
All right.
Okay.
Easy enough.
And
you put a rock on it to secure it so it doesn't move around, or what's your best stake it?
If you had some stakes, you know, they have some little wire things that you can kind of poke down in there, or they have some monument type stakes where you push it down and you can clip this on there and hold it up.
Okay.
But that costs more money, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to take the bark, kind of push the bark around like that. And I'm going to kind of hold that where it needs to go, and I can put a little bark on top of it.
Easy enough.
And you remember all this over here? That's why I moved the bark.
Okay.
Okay, now I can slide all my bark back. And you need some more mulch and bark back here too, by the way.
Yeah, that's coming.
You're a little suspect here. Now see, what I should have done was probably run that underneath the root, huh?
That's a good idea.
Then it would push it down further. So look at all these things you're learning. Okay, so let's just do that real quick, shall we? Now I gotta pull this back out. Hold your mouth just right as you're pulling. See, it's a little stiff like that. You can use your pliers. We'll sneak that back under there. Hey, how do you like running the camera?
Looking good.
Okay. Okay, now I can push it in that same hole.
All right. Good.
Did you hear that click?
Snap.
Look at that.
Clean.
Isn't that way better than
Very
this?
Very clean.
Now, you don't have to necessarily leave this when you turn the water back on or anything, because this is what they give you for this and for the fitting here. If that barely weeps out of there, there's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
This is the materials they have at the store, and you don't put glue on there or anything. That's as easy as it is. Okay. Now,
looking good.
now I can push all this back up in there, like that.
Nice.
Okay. And see at the end, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the end where the flag dripper is? It's right here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and I just got that up above, and I can just leave it just like that.
Okay.
I don't have to do anything. Once we turn the system back on, we can turn that flag and see if it drips less or more. Sometimes it's supposed to drip a little bit less. Now other times I'll turn this flag any direction and I get the same amount dripping out. So
sure.
you just have to kind of check it out. Okay, so now we're done.
Looks good.
With the first one. That unsightly loop is
How
out
many?
of there. It's
So
capped.
many. It's a project.
Yes, you have a few, don't you?
Yeah, it's a project.
Let's get to the next one, shall we?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.